Do we know what kind of frame of mind Andrew and Fergie are in at the moment?
Well, I do know that Fergie, people are actually worried about her. She's in such a bad frame of mind.
The once known as the life of the royal party, Sarah Ferguson is now reportedly spending her nights alone, hiding away in a secret bar behind Royal Lodge called the Doghouse. The former Duchess of York is said to be drinking, crying uncontrollably, and confiding in staff members as she faces eviction from her Windsor residence, gripped by growing fears that dark forces might be targeting her family. Meanwhile, her ex-husband, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, stripped of his royal titles and honor, is allegedly wandering through the 30-room mansion, muttering to himself as the remnants of his royal world collapse around him. Together, yet divided, they are said to be counting down their final days at Royal Lodge, painting a troubling picture of turmoil, fear, and lives unraveling under pressure.
It's really at a low ebb. As you say, she goes drinking at the Doghouse, her pub. I know the girls are kind of, they want to freeze their parents out. They're cross with their parents, they're angry with their parents, but equally, they have stayed in touch because they're genuinely so worried about where their mental health is at.
Let's step inside the final chaotic weeks of Andrew and Fergie's life together and the disturbing fears consuming the woman once known as the Duchess of York. Royal Lodge, located in Windsor Great Park, has long stood as a symbol of privilege, seclusion, and royal legacy. Once home to the late Queen Mother, it became Andrew and Sarah's shared residence after their divorce in the 1990s. Despite their separation, the two continued living together for over 20 years, calling it their family home. But now those days are numbered. King Charles has reportedly ordered them both to vacate the estate by the start of the new year. Andrew is said to be relocating to a smaller property on the Sandringham estate, while Sarah has been instructed to make her own living arrangements. The couple now spends most of their time apart, residing on opposite sides of the 30-room mansion, only coming together for tense, emotional dinners that sources say often spiral into paranoia and anxiety. Insiders claim Fergie is panicking about her uncertain future and fears that her daughter's reputations may be dragged into public disgrace. Behind Royal Lodge sits a private, custom-built bar known among staff as the Doghouse. And it's there, according to those close to her, that Sarah Ferguson retreats each night, confiding her worries over glasses of wine and leaning on the few staff members who have remained loyal. "She's hiding away," one source said, describing how she spends hours talking, sometimes crying, about how her world is crumbling and how terrified she is of what comes next once they're forced to leave. It's a dramatic fall from the woman who once adorned magazine covers with confidence and grace. Now, she's said to spend her evenings drinking with staff, venting about sinister forces, and begging friends to stay late so she's not alone. Her growing paranoia, insiders report, has become overwhelming. She fears being targeted, not just by the press, but by influential figures she believes may still be watching. While Fergie hides in the Doghouse, Andrew reportedly spends his days pacing the halls of Royal Lodge like a restless ghost, muttering to himself and replaying every decision that led to his downfall. He rarely goes out, one staff member revealed. He just wanders the house, ranting, angry, bitter, and humiliated. Those close to him say losing his royal titles and public standing has broken him completely. Once known for his entitlement and pride, he's now a man overtaken by fear, regret, and disgrace. And even his once close bond with his daughters has grown strained under the shadow of his continuing scandals.
I think also we'll see some fracturing with the relationship with the daughters. I think the daughters are going to try and distance themselves too. And we may even see them renouncing their time.
Despite their claims that the past is behind them, fresh allegations have once again pulled Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie into the public eye. Reports have emerged suggesting that years ago, Sarah Ferguson brought her daughters to visit Jeffrey Epstein shortly after his release from prison. An alleged 2011 email from Epstein to his attorney claimed that Sarah was the first to celebrate my release and had visited him with her two daughters. Sarah has firmly denied the accusation, insisting that neither she nor her daughters recall any such visit. Still, the claims have deeply unsettled her. The idea that Beatrice and Eugenie could be publicly linked to Epstein, even indirectly, is said to be her worst nightmare, leaving her feeling guilty and responsible for exposing them to a scandal they had no part in. Friends say Sarah's anxiety has spiraled out of control, and she's living in constant fear that the couple's old secrets might resurface or that new revelations could emerge as Andrew faces renewed pressure from U.S. Congress, members demanding clarity about his Epstein connections. Even her sister Jane has reportedly flown in from Australia to support her, worried about Sarah's fragile emotional state. One insider described her as massively on edge, explaining that she's developed a deep sense of paranoia, convinced that everyone is out to destroy her reputation. Her fears aren't entirely misplaced. Public sympathy has nearly vanished. To many Britons, Andrew and Sarah are seen as disgraced remnants of a royal past, clinging to privilege while the monarchy moves forward without them. The only sources of comfort in their crumbling world are their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, along with their cherished corgis, Sandy and Muick, who, according to insiders, will remain within the family and move between Andrew and Sarah in a quiet, informal custody arrangement.
The corgis. You've got the beloved corgis.
Yes. Yes. Well, because we both. Yes, there they are.
I mean, that's just joy, isn't it?
And they're known as national treasures. So when they go chasing squirrels and trees are in the way, and they go,
you've got to be very.
Do they have security details?
Beatrice and Eugenie are reportedly deeply concerned about their mother's emotional stability. Both women have families of their own now, and while they remain privately protective of Sarah, they're also growing weary of being dragged further into their parents' ongoing controversies. Royal Lodge was more than just a residence. It symbolized security and identity. For Fergie, it was a place where she still felt tied to the royal family even after her divorce, a reminder that she hadn't been completely cast out. For Andrew, it represented the last remnant of his royal stature and privilege. Now, with eviction drawing near, the former couple faces uncertain and very different futures.
I don't have sympathy for them, I think that's the wrong word, but imagine what it must be like, trapped in your house, knowing you've got literally...
Andrew is expected to move into a smaller residence on the Sandringham estate, stripped of the power and prestige he once held. Sarah's future, however, remains far more uncertain. She's hinted at wanting another royal home, but those days are long gone. There's speculation she may relocate to London or even overseas, though her deep fear of living without security makes that unlikely. The reality is that neither seems prepared to live entirely apart, yet remaining together under the same roof has become intolerable. This marks the final chapter of what was once a dazzling royal love story turned public tragedy. The former Duke and Duchess of York, once the glamorous faces of the 1980s, are now seen as outcasts within the modern monarchy. Every action they take is scrutinized, every past mistake replayed, and their once celebrated legacy rewritten. Fergie's growing paranoia and Andrew's isolation reveal two individuals consumed by fear and regret, clinging desperately to the remnants of their influence in a world that has moved on without them. As they pack their belongings and prepare to leave Royal Lodge for the last time, one truth stands clear: the curtain has fallen on the House of York as we once knew it. But what do you think? Has Sarah Ferguson been unfairly punished for Andrew's misdeeds, or is she finally facing the repercussions of her own decisions? Do her fears of dark forces hold any real weight, or are they simply the unraveling thoughts of a woman who once had it all? Perhaps she's right to worry that her past might finally catch up to her. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates on the continuing royal downfall of the former Duke and Duchess of York.